Good evening, Rumblers. BlueMax here. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. This video is going to be on what I would do if I had to start over with the new account, bearing in mind that I will make purchases and probably unlock and purchase pretty much every zone offer and PvP offer. And so I'm going to kind of share with you what I have gleaned from playing this game from beta into soft launch as well as into global launch. And so much of progression within Warcraft Rumble is based on the collection system. The collection system increases as you acquire minis, as you increase their rarity, as well as increase their XP level. And collection level, there we go. Collection level is so crucial because the higher the collection level, the more XP you obtain from opening tomes, running quests, and doing PvP. And so the quicker you can get your collection level higher, the sooner you can really start pushing your account and getting your minis at a higher level. So some additional tips. Basically, you're going to want to initially collect every unit in the game and then start gradually increasing the rarity. And probably a good way to go about that, especially the way I would go about it, is we're going to initially get all of the minis to common, and then we're going to start taking the minis that we really like to play that are good in the campaign and get them to the next rarity. And another trick is if you're getting close to a collection level increase and you have tomes either in daily rewards or in the shop, specifically in a zone offer that you want to unlock, increase that collection level before opening those tomes. That way you get the extra bonus for it. So let's look at the rarity system within Warcraft Rumble. This was not present in beta. It was released in soft launch. And so I and probably a lot of other soft launch players put a fair amount of time and effort into looking at the system and understanding it. So basically, acquiring a mini for the first time gets it at common rarity. If you add 3 additional copies of that unit, you get it to uncommon. And at that point, you have to use Arclight Energy, which you obtain mostly through dungeons, which are unlocked at Sigil 30, I believe. And as you can see, the amount of Arclight Energy, as well as the number of stars to go from uncommon to rare, and then from rare to epic, and then finally to legendary, increases fairly significantly. So you're going to have to do a lot of pre-planning in order to optimize maxing out your account. Additionally, we have an XP table here, and this shows you how much XP it's going to take in order to get your minis to a certain level. And I'm a little disappointed in myself. I didn't highlight XP level 15 because in the following tables, we're going to look at where your collection level will be based upon your minis rarity as well as their XP level. And the major milestones I was covering is 5, 10, and 15. But I want to show you just how much XP it takes per mini in order to get them to max. And it's going to take a long time to get all of your minis to max. This game is a marathon, not a sprint. Also, it is not necessary to get every mini fully maxed. A lot of minis we just don't use either in PvE or in PvP. But a lot of players who have been in the game since soft launch and have invested some money into increasing the rate at which we progress, a lot of us have our minis to where it takes about 50,000 or 100,000 XP to get them leveled up. This just gives you kind of a frame of reference. Okay, how much gold does it take to max out? And the final total is a whopping 562,320. And bear in mind, best these are my best calculations. I could be off a little bit here or there, but if I am, it's not going to be much. And so, but again, our goal is not to get every mini to legendary. In fact, most of them may never get to legendary. Currently, the cores that are necessary to get to legendary are extremely rare. You can get 3 in the campaign, and a handful of people got the core at 20,000 otter in PvP in the early seasons, but currently that's very difficult to obtain. So really, we're looking at going from common to uncommon to rare and to epic, and you can see the amount of gold there. And what I hope you see is it doesn't take that much gold to acquire every mini, and it does increase significantly as you move along, but you don't have to get all this immediately. Let's move on. Okay. So with some research on Reddit and some great spreadsheets, I've got a pretty decent breakdown of how much gold you're going to be able to get through playing the game. This is specifically, I think, clearing all the heroics and doing about 2 months of surges. This does include the Arclight boost, and you're definitely going to want to buy that. It also includes the PvP packs that you open up at silver, gold, and platinum. I didn't go any higher because you're not going to hit 12,000 honor until until most of your minis that you play PvP in with are at either 8 or 9. But I did include the regular campaign as well as heroic campaign deals, and they're very good value. Much better value than just buying gold raw in the shop. And there's a pretty decent number for you. There at the bottom, $275. But bear in mind, this is this is a hobby, and this is done over the span of several months. So it's not like you're having to buy this all immediately. Okay. But if I were starting over, I would do similar to what I did the first time around, and that is I would buy 12,000 gold just right out the bat because remember, the quicker we get our collection level raised, the sooner we can push harder. And so this shows you how much gold it takes to get all your minis at common, and then you can see what your collection level is going to look like based upon where your mini level is. And let's go back to that table and see what percentage of XP it takes us to get to 5, 10, and 15. Okay, so 5 is, yeah, that's what, like 37? That's negligible. Um, Same for 10, very small percent. We're only looking at 0.2 of 1%. Now, when you get to 15, you are starting to hit a cap where it's going to take a long time to level up those XPs further. But that gives you a good frame of reference. And again, the more you raise that collection level, the faster you're going to get that because you're just going to get more XP just doing your daily grind. And when it comes to quests, if you just open up your game every 2 to 3 hours, you're going to generally have a rare or epic quest where you're going to get either 3 or 5 times the usual XP. And if you just do those quests several times a day, that's going to go a long ways to pushing your units further. So let's go on back. So this is how much gold and Arclight energy it would take to get a core of 5 leaders, one from each family, and about 15, not about, exactly 15-minute units to uncommon. And the idea here is as you progress through the campaign, you want to continue going through this process. Um, those 10 to 15 minis, those are going to be the ones that you're going to use again and again to progress into the campaign. And so once we get all of our leaders to uncommon, we're increasing the gold by a considerable amount from 16,000 to 43,000 and 10,000 Arclight to 34.5. And then as we continue to progress into the campaign, we're going to want to get a core group to rare. And that's how much gold and Arclight energy it's going to take. But also notice at this point, your collection level is going to be between 30 and 37. And at this point, you're getting a good amount of value out of your quest, PvP, and tomes. Getting all leaders and minis at rare increases considerably. So let's see, that's an extra 60,000 in gold and about another 80,000 in Arclight energy. So at this point, it's quite a grind, and you probably have all of your minis, rather all your leaders at gold in dungeons. And these gold numbers also take into effect acquiring talents as well as purchasing the rare cores. But bear in mind, you're going to, as you progress into the heroic campaign, you're going to acquire rare cores as part of the track, and you're going to see rare cores in your daily rewards quite frequently. So you're not going to have to purchase all of this, but I'm just showing you the total gold value. Now, moving even deeper, at this point, you're probably well into the heroics by the time you have 5 leaders and 15 minis at epic. And there's a good chance that you're purchasing a lot of these epic cores in the shop or in special offers as they come along. But again, this is a gradual process. So if you just watch and make sure you get the best deals possible, then you're going to save yourself some money. And yes, at this point, your collection level is going to be much higher. And the rule of thumb that I see within Diablo gaming is once you hit collection level 40 and higher, then those megatomes that cost 500 gold in the shop, they become worth it. They become worth it. The option in the shop for a single star and a certain amount of XP for the leader for 320 gold is never worth it. That's roughly, you're getting about 25% of the value of a single pull from a megatome. So just don't do it. Don't do it at all. Now, just to be crazy and speculative, here's how much gold and Arclight energy it would take to get all your minis at Epic. But as you can see, at that stage, looking at XP level 15, your collection level would be almost maxed. But I will say, by the time you have all your minis at Epic, your collection level will be at the theoretical max of 50 because most of your minis will be much higher than 15. They will be at 17 and 18, which is where I am, as well as a lot of Diablo gaming. Now, this is what I view as what you would reasonably need to beat heroic, assuming that not only do you have the account power, but also you understand the mechanics and you have the skill. You're going to want a core of units at epic. You're going to want pretty much all the leaders at rare and another group of units at rare. And these are going to be ones that are going to be not quite corner cases, but they have good utility and are useful in some of the tougher or more unique challenges within the heroic campaign. A mini that immediately comes to mind for me is Batrider. I was able to beat Devilsar with Batrider at uncommon. So it doesn't need to be epic, but you want to be progressing that unit anyway because it is very, very handy. Devilsar and General Kolbatan are pretty much milestones within the heroic campaign that it's going to really test your mettle in order to beat. So if I were doing this over, these are the leaders per faction that I would recommend you do. Because remember, when you hit heroic, you're going to have to clear every map with one leader from each of the 5 families. And so the talents from top to bottom, those are my recommendations. Jaina, I would go with Blink. That is the most popular within Diablo gaming. That's where she retreats when she first takes damage. It generally allows her to just stay alive longer and do more damage, and you'll be able to cast more spells. I selected Grom. Oh, let me say Tyrion is also a very good choice for a leader since he heals, but I did find that Jaina was really good for some of the tougher heroic challenges, especially ones where you're going to need spells in order to beat the boss, since her passive is it increases the level of spells by 3. I chose Grom, but honestly, any of the Horde leaders will do well. Grom, with his Bloodlust passive talent, is just really, really helpful. And Grom's Mirror talent is so good for soloing towers. Rend, I'm recommending you do Rend because Rend is also the quote easiest leader to use to defeat Onyxia. The majority of people beat Onyxia with Rend, and Scale and Steel is hands down the best talent for this leader. That's the one where Rend has resist when he's on his Drake, and he has armored when he is dismounted. Hogger, I chose Hogger, but a lot of people really like Murkai. And if you're really a nerd or you're just strange, you like Charlka. I'm just kidding. It doesn't really work for she doesn't work for my playstyle, but that's just me. For Hogger, the general consensus is the talent that increases his health each time he's deployed, it stacks to 3, is the best. And Baron Rivendare is possibly the best leader for both PvE and PvP, even after the version 3.0 nerf, in which he spawns ice mages or either mage or either skeletons at towers every 20 seconds instead of every 15. Chill of the Grave, still S tier talent. These are the minis that I would first focus on getting to Epic. They are going to be super good for clearing the heroic campaign, and most of these minis, especially the ones in the top row, those are the ones that you're most likely going to use for Onyxia. In addition to that is Drake and Defius Bandits. But Bandits, they don't have to be at Epic. They can be around 23 or 24 because their job with Onyxia is to open chests, and anything else you get out of them is just gravy. But the other units are almost in every Onyxia deck I've seen. Now, in addition to that, Execute, Griffin, Dark Spirit Troll. These are really good in the campaign, and they're also super good in the current Arathi Basin meta within PvP. So you get additional utility. Now, that also goes for Quillbore, Safe Pilot, and Whelp Eggs. They are just amazing. Absolutely amazing in PvP. Huntress, she costs 5 gold. She's resistant. She's fast, and she does a lot of damage. But she costs 5 gold. So in PvE, she's fantastic, but she's not so good at the higher level competitive meta. But at lower level, you can still get away with it. So if you can't see the talents for Harpies, I'm recommending Poison. That is almost always the best. For Meat Wagon, you want the Trebuchet to increase range from 11 to 13. That is just so clutch. For Quillbore, this can really go a lot of ways. I selected the Poison because that's what you're going to use with Onyxia, but again, at this point, you're going to have all of them. For Safe Pilot, most people prefer Gnomish cloaking device, although I prefer coming in hot. And for whelp eggs, that's flame bursts, but rookery in Onyxia can also be useful, but I think flame burst is better. For execute, that's the talent that gives bloodlust. That is super super clutch within the campaign as well as in PvP. For Griffin, that's the range talent, very very handy, but in PvP any one of those talents can be used to tailor to your build. For Drake, most people like the Mother Drake talent, and that's also really good for Onyxia, but Flame Burst can also be really, really clutch. For Dark Spear Troll, I still think the talent that uh, Big Bad Voodoo, which keeps the troll alive, is just so clutch. And with Huntress, you could really go either with the Elven Might that increases the amount of damage that Huntress does to the first target she hits, but the stealth one is also really good. Okay, and I think that is pretty much everything I covered. So, kind of to summarize, if I was starting out with a new account, I'd go ahead and throw 12,000 gold into it in order to get my collection level boosted faster so that I can push faster. And I would clear the first 75 sigils first while acquiring all of the zone offers and of course watch for special offers, such as here around the Christmas season. The dungeon offers that come are they're just so. They're not bad and they're not taking advantage of you, but they're not mythic or legendary. They're great, and great means they're not bad. Um, some of your heroic offers later are really really good. You definitely don't want to pass on those. And so and you just keep an eye on the special offers, especially if you're hungry for epic cores. Anytime you can get epic cores when you are a spender is a good day. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. I hope this has been beneficial, and please consider subscribing to my channel. It helps support the channel and will assist me in making more content in the future. So again, I hope this has been informative. Thank you.